Hello, it's Bonnie from Everything Country CA. Please join me as I start my quest to organize and value my old coin and stamp collections that I haven't looked at in over 40 years. Let's get started. A little bit embarrassed to show you my dining room area right now. I did take down the Christmas decorations that I had. If you're interested in seeing what my front room looked like for Christmas, but I've now gotten into a bit of a rabbit hole. I found some old coin collections and stamp collections that I had started many, many years ago, and I just started looking them up and started organizing, and now look at my messy dining room table. I was trying to put things in by year and also to look through all of the coins and see which ones were valuable, and oh my god, it's just a disaster. But anyway, so here's where I'm at right now. I've even got like listed by year, 1930 all the way up, and then I've got special coins. I've got American coins in green there, and then some Canadian nickels and some more pennies, which obviously didn't stay in their spots. And it's just a disaster. So what I decided to do was I ordered some special sleeves for coins and stamps, and I'm in the process of just opening up that box, and I'll show you what I bought. So I'm hoping I can organize all of this mess so I could get back to my regular programming, I guess you could say, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so this package just arrived from Amazon, and it is a few things that I ordered to hopefully help with this stamp and coin collection things, because it's just so difficult. I've got too many pieces and trying to organize them all. I did order a special set of tweezers here for stamps, so I guess it has this like flat edge that doesn't damage the stamps. So I've ordered that, and then I ordered these 9-hole coin pocket inserts. So these are going to be good for organizing my coins by, I think by decade, I guess would work, because there's how many, 4 by 5, 20 in each on each page. And I guess in this package there's, I think it was 200 in total, 10 pages, yeah, 200. So that's what they look like. So that's going to be really helpful. So I will start organizing my pieces there. And then for stamps, I have this. It's a set of pages that are good for all of your stamps and these little inserts. And it's got 7 pockets per page, 20 pages, so it should hold quite a few of my loose stamps. So that's exciting. And then I also got this one, which is got more coins inserts. It's 300 pockets, and I think that one will be good as well. So stay tuned. I will show you what it looks like after, and I did buy these from Amazon, so I'll put the Amazon link below if you're interested in purchasing those. I do have an affiliate link. I do get a small commission, but it's no cost to you. But anyway, it is useful to have these kinds of collector items. So for organizing, and I'll see how it goes. Okay, thank you. Hi again, everybody. Here is where I am now in terms of organizing my coins in my coin collection and my stamps. Just to give you some background, when I was a kid, I used to collect coins on the farm, so I had quite a few of the pennies, and I would organize them by year. And then some of the dimes and nickels as well, but mostly the pennies. And also when my parents had passed, they we divided up amongst my sister and my brother and I the coin collection that they had. So I did receive some of the older coins from them, and then also I had quite a few American coins, which I will get to in a bit, but in my own collection. So basically, like, here's the Canadian rolls that I received. I had a couple of these, 3 of these pennies from 1967, and a couple of the rabbit nickel rolls. This one I have the other, they're just not in the roll. And then there's a full roll there of the rabbit nickels from 1967. As well, for some reason, I have a 1966 nickels here, and I don't know why I have those. I think there might be a special year, but I have to look into that. And those were from my dad. And then there's a few extra little things in that tin. I also had, so just now I've just been organizing some extra of the pennies in these just by year, and also in the envelopes, because it's really hard when you got multiples and you don't know if they're worth anything you don't want to give them up, but you want to kind of organize them. So I did that, and also I started using those sleeves that I purchased, and by year I started organizing these pennies. So you can see I've got some old ones, 1887, 1916. I actually started putting the dates, each year, and so 1910 to, that was up to the 30s. This is the 40s, and up to 59, and then 60. And if it was a special year, I made a note. Tried to do that, and then that went up mostly just up to the late, I guess that was the 70s. And then for nickels, I started at the 60s. No, actually, this is 1941. I got to move that around. So I got 41 in 40s and 50s, then 60s and 65. And there was a special year for 65, so I had some of those split out. And some ones I had purchased at a coin event at one point. So, I'm just getting it organized into these binders so I know what I've got. And I started making some notes of what they could be worth. There's the dimes, 1970s, and then it goes up to 2020, and then I have getting into the 25 cents. There's an old 1921 25-cent Canadian coin, 1940 quarter, 1950s, 1960s, all the way up to the 80s. And then I get into the other newer collectible coins, which I have more of. I just got to fill them in. And then I even have some of the old 1961 silver dollar, and some other like 50-cent pieces. So these are all just, this is my attempt to try to get them organized. And then in this section I have the U.S. coins, and started to see like 1901 U.S. coin, and I went back and I'm thinking, well, why do I have these coins? I guess my mom and dad had some, but how they got them, I know that in Saskatchewan they made trips back and forth in the family to relatives in Michigan area. We had cousins that lived down south, as well as step family, and so there was a lot of traveling back and forth. So I think that's why some of these coins remained in our family possession from the States. And this goes all the way up, 1941, 1950. So I tried to make some notes if I saw something that was special, but at this point I was just getting organized, and I know it doesn't look that professional, but for me it's good enough, because I'm not going to take it too seriously. I just wanted to know kind of what I had. And I started looking into the values as I was going through that to see, well, were there any special coins? There were 2 sources that I used. One was basically Googling, and I summarized I can put some pictures of these on the screen, but you know, for each category, Canadian pennies, Canadian dimes, you know, what are the major ones to look for, and Canadian quarters, and then I went into American pennies, American dimes, and then American quarters. And so that was helpful if, you know, you're trying to organize your collection, but you want to know if you got something that might be of interest. It's good to have an idea, so I can put those screenshots for you in a little bit on the page. And then also the world coins, there's Canadian values pages on coinworld.com. I'll put the link up, and those are free. You can download the PDF file. It's about 12 pages. I only printed off the first few pages that I was interested in. They have a newer version for 2016, so I'm not sure if they're posting a newer one since then. They do have the American coins online as a lookup, so you can put in the type of coin and the year, and it'll give you some info for American coins as a lookup. So, and that's free on the coinworld.com. So that was all very interesting, and that was me getting organized with my coin collection for now. And so what I'll be doing next with the coins is looking at some of these special coins. I do have a couple of 1955 pennies that might be that no shoulder fold, for example. So I will check those. I might have to get some graded, because there's not much point having them if they're not graded, and you won't know the value for sure. But that's all fun, and it all takes a lot of time. So it took me a couple days to get it to this point, and now I'm just kind of sitting on it for a little bit, and I'll think about what to do next and whether I want to get any coins graded. And that's my coin collection so far. So stay tuned for a part 2 on that if I make some progress on my coins. And then for stamps, what I've done is I've organized my stamp collection. And when I was a kid, my sister and I used to receive stamps from our aunts in Vancouver, and we each got one of these stamp collection folders. So they would send us some loose stamps and things, and we would try to organize them. And you can see I've got some of these still that are loose. So what I've done, I was looking through, well, what did I do way back then when I was on the farm? I was a kid. What did I do? I guess I did have quite a bit of Canadian, and there's Australian, quite a few Canadian stamps, and, you know, pretty filled in for the fact that I was on the farm, you know, in Saskatchewan. Not too bad. But still, there's a lot more older Canadian stamps to be found. It actually goes on quite a bit. And then for the USA, which are the two that are of most interest to me, let's just get to the USA section. I had quite a few stamps, and I've got some more of these actually, but so you can see, start filling in those. And this was like way back in the 70s I was doing this, before, you know, while I was in high school and earlier. And then I kind of lost interest for a while. So this has been sitting like this for years. And so I also had a lot of loose stamps. So what I've been doing now in this last little while is trying to organize a binder to say, okay, well, what else do I have? I found a couple other things that I had purchased a while back, some loose envelopes of loose stamps. Definitely got to go through these and see what's there. And then I put some Canadian postcards with the old stamps on them, so that one's very interesting. Because the postcards often have the old stamps, or most of the times they do on these old postcards. And British got some unopened set of loose stamps there. And some more postcards to look into. And then USA, this one was quite interesting because I did have a lot of loose USA stamps. So I started trying to see, like this one says could be up to thousands of dollars. Well, yeah, that would be if it was the most rare condition and had a certain perforation on the left or right or whatever, or wasn't perforated, or was a certain tint of color or in certain conditions. So, the chances of it being worth thousands are rare, but you just never know. So I'll have to go through some of these, but I did organize at least by what they were. I started getting into the Andrew Johnson stamps and all those. So I got quite a few more. There's just so many to get multiples, of these stamps, and then you go, well, what are they worth, right? This one, is it rare? It's a 1932. It says, okay, $850 up to $13,000 on eBay. Yeah, right. So we'll see, is it actually worth something? I don't know. But I did compare to eBay prices on some of these, and it is fascinating. Whether or not they're actually worth anything is a question. So for people who know, leave a comment if you think I should check into one of these more specifically. But definitely have quite a selection of USA stamps. And that's what I was saying, like my aunts, that they used to communicate back and forth with cousins and step family in the USA. So they had a lot of these stamps going back and forth, and they would send us stamps, and a lot of these were just left in there's a loose pile of stamps. The purple Abraham Lincoln is supposed to be quite interesting too, so I got to check into that some more detail. But it'll be useful to have these folders. Some more repeats I've noted there, and then some more postcards. And I'm watching as I find vintage postcards if they have some of the old stamps. So that's where I'm at right now. I do have those supplies that I purchased, and I'll leave the links for you if you're interested. And I found that just getting to this point was satisfying because I know now, at least I know where things are and I can look things up. And having that Mystic Stamp Company, I referred to that in one of my thrift hauls. They have that free online catalog for stamps, which I'll leave the link as well. And basically, this is where I'm at right now. So it's a little bit better than what it was the last time you saw the table full of coins and other things and really disorganized. At least I've kind of got it organized now. And I'll think about what I'm going to do next with my coins and my stamps. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon. Next week I'll have another video. I'm hoping to do my teapot collection video next week, part 2, and I'll be working on that. So thanks again.